Welcome everyone today. We will firstly listen to a reading from the book of Acts in the Bible, chapter 17.
Paul stood up in front of the city council and said,
I see that in every way you Athenians are very religious. For as I walked through your city and looked at the places where you worship, I found an altar on which is written, "To an unknown God." That which you worship, then, even though you do not know it, is what I now proclaim to you. God, who made the world and everything in it, is Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in temples made by human hands. Nor does he need anything that we can supply by working for him, since it is he himself who gives life and breath and everything else to everyone. From one human being he created all races of people and made them live throughout the whole earth. He himself fixed beforehand the exact times and the limits of the places where they would live. He did this so that they would look for him and perhaps find him as they felt around for him. Yet God is actually not far from any one of you. As someone has said, in him we live and move and exist. It is as some of your poets have said, we too are his children. Since we are God's children, we should not suppose that his nature is anything like an image of gold or silver or stone, shaped by human art and skill. God has overlooked the times when people did not know him, but now he commands all of them everywhere to turn away from their evil ways. For he has fixed a day in which he will judge the whole world with justice by means of a man he has chosen. He has given proof of this to everyone by raising that man from death.
We are here outside of Ockbrook Moravian Church. The bunting is still up from VE Day. And I thought I'd take you outside because today I would like to take you on an imaginary journey. Do you like traveling? Do you like marketplaces? I do. Many years back, we in East Germany could hardly travel anywhere. But when we could travel, for instance, to Hungary, it was something extraordinary. And of course, when we went to such places, we went also to marketplaces. And we could buy fresh and ripe peaches, for instance, and other fruits which we have hardly seen before. Later, I've seen marketplaces in other countries. And the special thing about marketplaces is that you get a feeling for the local life. Whether it is Ridley Road Market in London, or the marketplaces in Leicester or Derby, or in Kathmandu, or Binakandi, or Delhi, or Leh, or anywhere else in the world. We learn that the Apostle Paul went to a marketplace in the Greek city of Athens. This is where he got to know the culture and customs and religion of the people living there. And it seems as if this was a place where people also were debating with each other. Maybe a bit like Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park in London. And Paul joined into the debate with people about God. And from this marketplace, Paul then was taken to another place called the Areopagus. This is translated the Hill of Mars, or Mars Hill, named after a Greek god. We don't know for sure why Paul was taken there. Maybe he wanted to go to a quieter place, or it was a traditional place for debating. There was also a building accommodating a legislative council, so maybe Paul had to defend himself. Whatever it was, Paul stood up and addressed the people. I see, he said, that in every way you Athenians are very religious people. For as I walked through your city and looked at the places where you worship, I found an altar named to an unknown God. It was the religious concept of the Greek people to think of many gods, and it would be detrimental to forget one when worshipping. So to be on the safe side, they thought we erect an altar and call it to the unknown God. So what can we learn from all this? Firstly, the Apostle Paul was engaging in conversation, and he was doing this respectfully. We are encouraged to engage in conversation with people who have different cultural or religious backgrounds. In Leicester, we have a community coffee morning, at the moment meeting on Zoom. People of different backgrounds come together, and it is like building bridges between communities. And this is so much needed in our divided world, where prejudice gives so often rise to rejection and even war. What can we learn? Secondly, the Apostle Paul stood his ground, and he responded also to a need. Beauty played a big part in the Greek thinking and philosophy. The beauty of life and wisdom, which was often expressed in beautiful architecture, in art and poetry. But a bigger question was looming over this. Why is it that beauty eventually is fading away and ending in death? I believe this question is a question people ask today, in particular in a time of crisis which we experience now. Paul's answer must have surprised and also convinced some of his listeners. He said, "It is not ending all in death." Then he talks about God, who created the universe, who gives life, who is close to everyone. And it is like a big stream, everything coming from God and going to God. In short, life is not without hope and promise. Yes, there is the big marketplace of life, which has so many different ideas to offer. Choose wisely. The vague spirituality, there must be something bigger, or the unknown God, can be defined. The God you call unknown is the God who is underpinning the whole universe. He is not the remote one, but the close one, the life-giving one, and he is visible in the person of Jesus Christ. If he is life-giving, we are called to be life-giving. This will spill out in our words and actions. And I'm sure you can think of people whose faith spills over in word and deed, who go the extra mile to help others and to show the love of God to other people, and whose hope and trust in God can be spotted easily.
A prayer. God, in this season we offer our thanks. You, knowing all things, know exactly how we feel right now, While we battle confusion and uncertainty, we know we are not alone. While we isolate ourselves and keep our distance, we know you are never too far. While we ask difficult questions and face hard, unexpected truths, we know you are a wise and a true God. You have made yourself known to us. Give us strength and joy in this time. Fill us with peace and happiness that could only come from you. Show us how to love and care for one another in this new world, which is still yours. Although many things are changing, help us to rest in the truth of who you are, a loving God that never changes. Amen.
Thank you for joining us today. Please do come back next week. And now may God bless you and be with you always. Have a good week.